Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Apollo Justice. More Apollo Justice. It really fucks me up that they call this the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy, but that's what we're going with. Say that because the fifth game barely features him at all. And the sixth game really only shows him off in the last case or so. But whatever, it's fine. It's his trilogy. He's the man now, dog. And we're going to start his second trial. Hopefully this time he doesn't get his boss in prison. Alright. So last time around we did some investigating of the area around Phoenix Wright's office, and we solved a bunch of minor crimes and stumbled onto a murder. So, you know, business as usual for our ace attorneys. Let's see what Apollo can do and see if he can get mob boss Walkie-Kataki, well, mob boss's son Walkie-Kataki, off the schneid. We're off to a great start here as lawyers, aren't we? June 16th, 9:46 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Huh, Mr. Wright's not here today? He said his old foot injury was acting up. Old injury? He was all smiles yesterday. Yes, he smiled when he said we'd be fine as long as you're there, Trucy. Yes, fine. We'll be fine. Here comes justice. I started my voice training at 5 this morning. Ooh, do some now. I want to see, or hear. Oh, okay. My name is Apollo Justice and I'm fine! Sorry, I'm not going to be screaming at 3 in the morning here. You're going to have to accept that. That sounds more like a self-mantra than voice training. I'm fine, you know what I'm saying. Good morning. Yo, sup? Hit me with the guilty verdict, G, see if I care. You just hang loose and let things go with the flow, you know what I'm saying? Not really. Walk it, don't be running your mouth like that in here. See, that's the difference between me and you, old man. I ain't afraid of no cops. Real G's can't keep it real until they spend some hard time in the pen. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Sounds like they've both been voice training too, Apollo. Hey, Draconic, welcome to the stream. My worst fears realized. The trial's starting and I still haven't had a real talk with my client. June 16th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Walkie-Kataki. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready to rock and roll, Air Judge. Oh, it's him! The guy from yesterday. He's a prosecutor? It's Mr. Gavin's brother. Long time no see, Prosecutor Gavin. Were you taking a leave of absence? You know that little band I started in my free time? Thing is, we got real popular. I'd say 9 to your fans when 3 of your singles go platinum, yeah? I see. To be honest, I was a little concerned. I feared that you might still be distraught over that one trial. Not to worry, Air Judge. I wouldn't miss this day in court for the world. It's worth even more than VIP passes to one of my concerts, yeah? How could I pass up a chance to see the true strength of the little boy who bested my brother? It was worth canceling a show or two. Understood. You may give your opening statements to the court. Before that, I was thinking, is the air in this courtroom not a bit serious? It is a court of law. That's no way to get the crowd jumping, Air Judge. They're not supposed to jump. This is a courtroom. Ah, Chung, baby. Today we play it my way. What's that noise? Sometimes you have to get on up in order to get down. To prosecuting. This is crazy. The victim, Pal Mercatus, director of the Maractus Clinic. His name's Maractus, get it right. The scene, People Park. He was found pulling a noodle stand. What in the world was a doctor doing pulling a noodle stand? Yes, I believe you will only find that out by asking the defendant, right here, right now. Because it's an undeniable truth that he shot the victim. What do you mean, undeniable? If you are to glare at anyone, Air Justice, glare at the punk in the defendant's chair. His crime was witnessed quite clearly, you see. Very well. Please admit this witness to the court. Nine. Not yet. First, there's a little matter to be cleaned up. Could you talk without the accompaniment? I swear I could see the guitar for a second. What is it, Prosecutor Gavin? The motive, Air Judge. Why did the little punk do it? Why did he kill the director of the Maractus Clinic? Objection! Not so fast, the defendant doesn't have to explain that. Oh, but what if the defendant specifically requests to do so, as he did this morning? I want to give a shout out to all my homies, I believe he said. What? What is right? They always say that on stage you should hit the crowd with speed and ferocity. Sounds like he got you good, huh, Polly? Well, this is highly unusual, but the court will now hear from the defendant concerning his motive in the crime. Great. We've got a defendant who just wants to get himself a guilty verdict. So, you, son, are the defendant. Walkie, are you? I ain't your son, old man. You step to a Kentucky, you best be prepared to step strong. You step to a public official, you'd best be prepared to step in jail. You gotta hand it to him. Walkie sure has guts. It's not his guts I'm worried about. Yep. Well then, the court will now hear testimony on the defendant's motive. From the defendant himself. Walkie-Kataki's truth. Great. I'll tell you one thing, that doctor was a quacker. Someone had to show him what's what. I was in his clinic about half a year ago. He messed up my ops something bad. And then he just lets me go without a word. Sees you later. Bye. So I gotta go in and get another doc to patch me up again. That was the day I done figured it out. No OG's gonna let that pass. That's why I went to his pad that night. Know what I'm saying? You're saying you're one of the victim's patients. A lot of stuff goes down when you're keeping it real on the street, true dat. I tell you one thing, that doc was whack. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. I can't believe this is the first time I'm hearing about all this. Alright, let's start pressing, see what we can get out of this guy. Get out of our client. Oy. Hold it! First of all, the word you're looking for is quack. And isn't that a little harsh? He's your family doctor. Who asked you, pointy locks? Just who do you think you are? Your lawyer? Look, I ain't trying to hear that. He was a quacker, plain and simple. Someone had to show him what's what. Hold it! By someone, you mean... Was there anyone with a score to settle with this doctor? Besides you, I mean. You better ask somebody else, Holmes. What do I care? I made up my own mind and did what had to be done. Straight gangster style. But why were you so mad at this doctor? Yo, sit back and listen while I drop it, J-Man. I was in his clinic about half a year ago. Ow. So, you were a patient at the Maractus Clinic half a year ago. For what reason? I had what you might call a mark of honor. Can you explain precisely what was wrong? We had a little run-in with the Rivales family. That's when I pulled a jack move. And ran to an ambush. G busted the cap right in me. According to my sources, you couldn't stand the stress of waiting. And ran in 15 minutes before the appointed time. By yourself. Hey, I was more than a match for those guys. So, you were carried to the Maractus Clinic from there. Apparently, he was shot in the heart. Shot in the heart? And he's still alive? I can catch bullets between my teeth, but I never learned how to catch them with my heart. Bullet just stopped short of my thumper. Know what I'm saying? I would have been golden if it weren't for that whack doc. Can't even take out a stupid bullet. So, as you say, the surgery was a failure. That ain't all of it, Holmes. And then he just lets me go without a word. See you later. Bye. What do you mean he just let you go without a word? What do you think it means? It's whack, that's what. I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds bad. It sounds as though a doctor wished to hide his mistake. This is why he let the defendant go. He's a liar, straight up. He's a badder G than me. So I gotta go in and get another doc to patch me up again. So, this bullet is still... You know it! I can still feel it! Right there in my chest, pressing up against my heart. Your words are like a bullet shot straight into my heart. Oh, something to that effect? Incidentally, that's from one of our hit singles. Well, that sounds like a straightforward case of malpractice. Word, J-Man! We're no accident, that's for shizzle. God, I haven't seen That's for shizzle in years. It seems that there were issues with this doctor. Man, putting him down was like doing the world a favor. Walkie, please consult your lawyer before saying things like that. Chin up, Apollo. Back straight. But why did this mistake only come to light that day? It was found during the family health checkup. The family checkup? That was the wax thing of all. All us G's lining up, taking eye exams and all that. Better die young than fade away, bazoy! A relief to hear. Eh? What's a relief? Oh? Did your father not tell you? That bullet you carry so close to your heart. If not attended to immediately, it could kill you. What? Yes, Dr. Maractus had knowledge concerning this ticking time bomb in you. Knowledge that could have saved your life. No way! That's whacked! There is proof in your checkup report. How ironic that you would kill the one man capable of helping you. I think we need to take a look at this checkup report and see what's going on with it. Patient's name, Waki-Kitaki, age 19, male. Report filed on June 14th. Metallic object found near heart, urgent exam needed. You're almost as careless as he was. Well, now that the place is hopping, let's get this gig started. Started? We've had enough of a warm-up act, y'all. Time to hear from the witness. Walkie sure is quiet all of a sudden. I'm a little uneasy myself. Is this Gavin's strategy? Interestingly enough, nothing to present in that testimony. We just had to go with the flow and press everything. So, you'll tell us your name and occupation. My name is Wesley Stickler. By occupation, I take it you may refer to some labor that profits society at heart, under which definition I must come to being unemployed. However, we must acknowledge the meaning of identity, which is commonly attached to this notion of occupation. And once we have accepted this reality, we see that our confusion is not gestalt per se, but derives instead from the vagueness inherent in all representations of thought. By which he means to say that he is a student. A junior at Ivy University, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in the Department of Science and Engineering. Filled with curiosity for all things, I spend my days in pursuit of truth, honing my... Herr Stickler, please direct said curiosity to the case at hand today. Very well, Mr. Stickler. Please testify to the court about what you saw on the night of the crime. You ask quite simplistically what I saw. However, you must understand that Homo sapiens possess two eyes, and they are designed to receive and interpret data, sending images in the form of signals to... Oh my god, please. This is gonna be brutal for me. A night in the park. That night, I passed through the park on my way home from shopping when I saw them. One man pulling a stand, another man facing him. I saw them quite clearly. The man facing the victim was the defendant. In his hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. A shot! The bullet hit the man pulling the stand from the front, square in the forehead. Yeah, it could be. Or he could just be a dumbass who wants to go to the clink for fun. Because he wants to be a real G. No, it's never that simple. It's never that simple. Was there anyone else in the park at that time? I can say with 100% accuracy that there was not. The pistol our witness refers to is this. The court accepts this into evidence. Weapon left at the scene of the crime. 2 rounds were fired. Fingerprints were wiped. 2 rounds were fired. Interesting. Let me examine this pistol before I begin my cross-examination, because I'm pretty sure this is important. Well, maybe not. Doesn't look like I can examine anything in particular on here. Oh, never mind. There's something. Whoa, don't point that thing at me! Don't worry, I can handle myself around guns. Magic guns, at least. The ones that pigeons come out of. Very reassuring. Is that it? I mean, hilarious, but... okay. I guess there's nothing to look at other than the fact that there was 2 rounds fired. I think that's going to be important. Yes, Your Honor. Trucy? Why are you staring like that at the witness? That man... I can't help but feel I've seen him somewhere before. Interesting. Alright, let's go press some statements.
Hold it!
On the way home from shopping, you say? Why go through the park? Ah, fascinating inquiry. Revealing me culpable of being insufficiently verbose. Let us consider the time saved by passing through the park on the way home from the store. In that time, I am capable of solving 2 GMAT problem sets. On average, it requires me 3 minutes, 24 seconds to complete one such set, ergo the time to complete 2 on average is 6 minutes and 48 seconds. However, the questions in question are the verbal category, admittedly not my strong. That's enough. enough, I get the idea. Mr. Justice, the court hopes to finish the cross-examination sometime this month. Please, I have a recording booked after this trial. And I've got a show to perform. Gee, sorry you're all so busy.
Hold it!
Were these men talking by any chance? Now that you mention it, they were. Though I cannot claim I heard them clearly. Only fragments, such as, "You lied to me. Oh, and, I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine, pal." Oh, it's just as our defendant claims. I believe he wished to teach the victim what it felt like to take a bullet in the heart. If that's true, then this is a vital piece of testimony. Sounds like he heard them clearly enough to me. Might I be allowed to amend my testimony? What now? To be precise, he did not say pal, but man. Yes, that was the way of it. I swear it on my diploma. What's the difference? And this other man, who was he? Well, the guy's name was Pal Maractus, so him calling him Pal also works.
Hold it!
How can you be so sure it was the defendant? The crime took place at night. It would have been too dark. Perhaps I was remiss in not mentioning this earlier. Huh? You see, in class, I always sit in the very backmost seat. Do you know why? Who cares? Because I do not wish anyone to copy my perfect notes. And this relates to your testimony how? I mentioned this to illustrate my predisposition to that which is perfect. It was dark, you say. Yet there are lights in the park. If I say the defendant was in the park that night, then he was in the park that night. It is a hard, immutable fact. He sure is confident. He seems to be telling the truth, too. Ugh. In his hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand.
Hold it!
Are you sure the pistol you saw is the same as the one just submitted as evidence? Am I sure? Surely you jest. Or so a common witness would be tempted to say. Huh? Yet I am no common witness. I see not only events as they are, but the logical structure governing these events. First, we must consider the fact that it was night in the park, which indeed restricted my field of vision due to insufficient levels of illumination. No, consider that the pistol, let's call it Object A, was indeed shrouded in darkness. It becomes difficult to say with certainty that Object A was indeed Object A. I think he means that he couldn't see it that clearly. My badge for a normal witness. Yet the fact that the pistol was fired before my eyes is indisputable. I can still see it when I close my eyes. The defendant raised his weapon. A shot. The bullet hit the man pulling the stand from the front, square in the forehead.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely certain only one shot was fired? Yes, of course it was one shot. Why did you ask? Haha, a contradiction. Finally! Mr. Stickler, according to the court record, the pistol was fired twice. A clear contradiction. Oh, good eyes there, Justice. You're cool. Real cool. Huh? You really think so? Yet, there's no reason why this other shot had to have been fired that night. Meaning? This pistol came from the Kitaki family mansion, yeah? I think it's not unreasonable to assume the pistol had been fired once before that night. During, perhaps, another altercation? He's got a point. Judging from his smug expression, I'd say Prosecutor Gavin had that answer ready before he even spotted the problem. He seems pretty confident in his testimony. We always make the biggest mistakes when we're our most confident. He's got a weak point somewhere, Apollo. Find it. Right. Better give that testimony another listen. Alright. I think I've got an idea of what it could be. So if I'm looking at the court record here, we can see a shiv. This has Waki's fingerprints on it, and is likely the weapon that he was holding at the time. Fingerprints were wiped off of this, so he could have been holding a pistol. But...
Objection!
Okay, no, I was wrong. I might be getting ahead of myself there. Alright, let's try that again.
Hold it!
Oh, I meant to go back. Alright. Does this really count?
Objection!
I guess it does. If that's all of it, I think I have a chance. Is that you relaxing, I see, Air Justice? Huh? Oh, objection! Once is quite enough, Mr. Justice. Apollo, pace yourself. This trial's not over yet. Right, look at this. The autopsy report. Is there a problem with the autopsy report? Right, a problem. Problem. Yes, the problem's the location of the entry wound. The location. You testified that the killer shot the victim square in the forehead, did you not? Ah, I have already determined your angle of inquiry. Allow me to explain. It is quite simple, really. First, understand that when I say square, I speak not of geometrical absolute. What I do mean by this? For example, the deflection of a meter is 1.7 of the wavelength of the light emitted by a krypton particle, as we all know. In addition, it is a well-known fact that the krypton particles are rare and invisible to the naked eye, which points to a basic fallacy in your line of reasoning, namely that... Mr. Justice. Yes? Was your objection to these, krypton particle things... This is the big time, and you're obsessed with something so small. You disappoint me. No, I'm obsessed with something big. I mean, there's a bigger, less nitpicky problem here. Do tell. Just look at the autopsy report. Location of the entry wound was the right temple. Temple? Mr. Stickler, you said quite clearly that the victim was shot square in the forehead. That's a contradiction, isn't it? It is, right? Finally!
Objection!
Air Justice! Oh, Air Justice. Yes? Your tactics are outdated. Trying to shake the witness by objecting to trifles. Surely you haven't forgotten the fatal wound your master suffered 7 years ago. Phoenix Wright, was it? Look, I know the wound was in the wrong place according to the testimony. Yeah. Hey, hair, forehead. Forehead? Let's just imagine that you're walking through the park. You see two men facing each other, one with a pistol trained on the other. What would you do, Air Forehead? Well, I guess I'd try to stop them. I'd probably shout, "Stop!" And you, Fraulein? Me? Well, I'd probably scream, "Eek!" And you, Air Stickler, what did you shout, I wonder? victim turned his head at the last moment. Ah, yes. Thank you for jogging my memory. Sounds like an addendum to the testimony is required. As soon as the killer raised his pistol, I took action. "Cease this at once, you two," I cried, with composure. The victim turned in the direction of my voice, and a shot rang out. Whereupon our cowardly killer, the defendant, appeared to have become frightened. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. I see. So you attempted to stop the crime. Indeed. With composure. Well, maybe the criminal wouldn't have fired if he hadn't shouted like that. That doesn't really matter now, unfortunately. Let us consider this new testimony, shall we? Observe the diagram, if you would. The witness, Mr. Stickler, was it? Stood here. He shouted, "Oh, stop, please," or something of that nature. And the victim responded by looking in the witness's direction. If the killer were to have fired just at that moment, as we can see, the bullet would have struck the right temple, as in the report. That does seem to be the case. Witness the power of a junior in Ivy University's Department of Science. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may cross-examine the witness.
Hold it!
So you saw a raised pistol. Weren't you frightened? It can be said that we students of Ivy University know no fear. The moment I saw that pistol, my inner sense of justice compelled me to take action. And that was certainly brave of you. You might have gotten shot. Huh? You certainly were lucky. If I were in the killer's shoes, I certainly wouldn't have left a witness behind. He actually looks like he had no idea he was in danger. Regardless, I attempted to halt the bloodshed. "Cease this at once, you two," I cried, with composure.
Hold it!
Are you sure both men were able to hear your voice? They were, of course. My high, exquisite voice echoed throughout the park. And the victim responded to that clarion call. Quite. The victim turned in the direction of my voice and a shot rang out.
Hold it!
Did you hear the gunshot at the same time as the victim turned? Indeed. I would say about the same time, to be precise. And the victim didn't ask you for help? It can be said that he didn't have time to ask. He didn't even have time to take a single step. I'm totally sure that the killer fired because Mr. Stickler startled him. Don't say that too loud, Trucy, please. Whereupon our cowardly killer, the defendant, appeared to have become frightened.
Hold it!
Can you describe the killer's actions more clearly? He seemed quite surprised, especially considering it was he who did the deed. As we can see, human psychology is a tangled web indeed. He simply couldn't believe what he had done. He shot, he panicked. A common tale, but true. Unfortunately, before I could take further action, tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene.
Hold it!
You didn't try to apprehend the criminal? It all happened so fast, I'm afraid I hadn't the time. Doesn't something about that strike you as odd, Apollo? What? The killer was in a hurry, right? He fired the pistol and tossed it right away. Oop, hold on. Stupid spam bots. According to the testimony, that's what happened, yes. In that case, I'd expect to find something that we didn't find. Find something? Find what? I like that contradiction. Kinda sad to see it go. Not as sad as I feel. What do we do now? At least the testimony's getting a little clearer. She's right. Maybe I can find something to use in this new testimony. Alright. So, if this is the case, we're supposed to find the pistol at the crime scene, because he tossed it aside. But we didn't find it. So, if we're going by Trucy's hint, that's what I would assume we would find, right? Wait a second. Tisk, another misleading request. But you're so beholden to your own mode of discourse, you can't see how it affects you. Come again? Wait a second, you say? A second! Oh, he intended to wait just that. A single second. 1/60th of a minute! That's hardly enough time to draw a breath, let alone make a statement in court. Now, had you asked for a longer period of time, say 3 minutes 35 seconds, Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor. Am I understanding you're objecting to the length of a second? Yes! I mean, no! Here, just look at the pistol. It doesn't have a single fingerprint on it. Ah, a common ploy made all the more common, I fear, by the prevalence of television. Criminals these days are loath to leave fingerprints. Wait, but you said the killer tossed the gun and ran. That's right. He didn't have time to wipe the gun for prints. Ah, the little girl sticking it to the university student. There's a stong in there. I'm not little! Then let's think like adults, shall we, Fräulein? Huh? What if the killer, the defendant, was wearing gloves? Gotta admit, I didn't think of that, Apollo. Well, Mr. Justice, could the killer have been wearing gloves? The record of the murder weapon is very clear about one thing. The fingerprints were wiped, which means some trace of prints remained, which contradicts your testimony. If everything happened as you say it did, he wouldn't have time to wipe the pistol. That may be, but it does not change what I saw. The killer, the defendant, he threw down the murderous weapon from his hands and fled. And this pistol was found at the scene of the crime, strongly suggesting that this was the weapon he disposed of. That sounds solid to me. Well, Air Forehead, any of your precious objections? What gives, Apollo? Let's see that voice training go to work! You know, I've only recently realized something. No matter how much you train your voice, it doesn't matter if you have nothing to say. What do you mean, nothing to say? Isn't it obvious from what the witness just said? Huh? Isn't what obvious? The fact that there's a knife with his fingerprints at the scene of the crime? Yeah, once again, I'm getting ahead of myself with the Ace Attorney stuff. When he restated what he saw just now, he said he saw Waki drop a murderous weapon. But that's not the same of being 100% sure of what Waki threw away. You're right. He's just confused because a pistol was found at the scene. Poor Mr. Stickler. It must be hard to be so perfect, and yet so wrong. Well, it can be said that I'm quite offended. While it is indeed true that once in my youth I wrote a love letter in my own blood that was seized by the teacher and posted on the blackboard for all to see, and the appellation poor might be well prefixed to my name, yet first the issue at hand. Hold on, what? What we can say for certain is that the witness saw the killer throw something. Does the defense have anything to say about this? Well, if what he threw wasn't a pistol, then it had to be something else. At least one person on the defense team seems to be thinking. I'll wipe that smile off your pretty face, Gavin. God, you're hot. And what? Perhaps you can inform the court as to the nature of this something else. What did the killer throw away before fleeing the scene?
Take that!
Is that a sword? I saw one of those on a late-night movie last night. Oh great, a sleep-deprived judge. This knife was found at the scene of the crime, with the defendant's prints on it. His prints! This single piece of evidence proves two important things. One, that what the defendant threw down wasn't a pistol. Two, that the defendant wasn't wearing gloves. Indeed. Oh, at forehead. You're forgetting two other things you've just proven. Huh? One, that the man the witness saw was the defendant, Mr. Walkie-Kataki. Two, that the defendant was holding a knife, with the intent of harming the victim. Oh. Indeed. Never underestimated Gavin as the lesson here. Well, it also proves that he didn't shoot him because he didn't have a gun. God. This court is of the opinion that our witness is fond of making assumptions. In that light, I believe it would behoove us to hear about what really occurred. With less assuming, please. It is always the same with you people. Mark left the house on foot, and 5 minutes later his brother left after him. How long would it take for Mark's brother to catch up to him? Assuming that Mark never had to stop for a traffic light. Assuming. Yes, that's what I said. Assuming. As if that were a probable situation at all. Yet here you are, assuming that my assumption is no better. What this court assumes is that the witness will testify as to what happened after the shot was fired. I could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. Why didn't you chase the killer? He was, as you say, a killer. Of course I could have run him down, yet what would he have done when cornered? Sadly, it takes more than an aptitude for solving quadratic equations to know that. Did the testimony earlier not prove the defendant's presence at the scene? And do we not also know now that there was no one else there? It seems clear that we have our killer. Does it not? Does it not, Mr. Justice? I'd better find a way to take this testimony down quick. Which way did the killer run? By that time, it was clear the killer had noticed me. Naturally, he ran in the opposite direction. That would mean he ran in the opposite direction from the Kitaki mansion. Ah-chung! Don't even think about pointing that he was going away from his home. All he had to do was loop back once he was out of sight. How did he know that's where I was going? Nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. You were certainly composed for someone who had just witnessed a killing. One is to devote one's life to the pursuit of science. One must never flinch at the sight of a little blood. Nor be so moved by a chemical discovery that one drops one flask upon the lab room floor. Ooh, cool answer. Very cool. So, nothing strange about how he acted. Trucy looks like she has something to say. Ergo, I use my cell phone to call the police. Wasn't your first thought to call an ambulance? It can be said that I have dabbled in medicine. The injury I witnessed, namely a single shot to the head, tends to result in death. Ergo, there was no need for me to call an ambulance. Oh, a perfect syllogism. A proof in 3 parts. Exquisite. Simply exquisite. He actually looks like he's going to cry. Can you tell us in detail about these 10 minutes? I stood in a state of heightened awareness. Anything could happen at any moment. Anyone could appear from any direction. Is that all? No one came. Nothing happened at all. I saw it all, which is to say, I saw nothing. It was late at night. It's not odd to think that there would be few people around in the park. So he just stood there watching? Not much to go on there. Trucy, if you've got something to say, by all means say it. I can't find a single problem with that testimony. Had enough at last, Air Forehead. Maybe it's time to back off a bit. The defense still has some questions that demand answers, Your Honor. Your opinion, Prosecutor Gavin. Oh, let him play attorney until he's satisfied, I say. I will amuse myself by composing my next smash hit in my head. Very well, you may continue with the cross-examination. Alright, let me see what I've got. Alright, I have no idea what I'm supposed to present here. Nor could I simply leave it seeing good conscience. There you go, use myself on the police. The police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, and I saw no one else. Okay. Okay, I've got nothing to object to. Do I just, like, leave this be? This witness is way too self-assured. There's gotta be a weakness somewhere in this testimony. I don't know what to present. Oh my god, I'm stuck. Seriously. I'm so bad at this game. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, seriously, yeah, I've got nothing. There's a reason I've got nothing. I am supposed to just let this go. Please tell me I only have to press this one. Some of us have glamorous careers we'd like to get back to at this moment, Air Forehead. They don't have enough to put Walkie away yet. Should I back off for now? Ugh. There's nothing fishy about that testimony at all. It appears there are no objections to the witness's current testimony. There are any of number ways to explain the lack of prints on the pistol, I assure you. Perhaps the killer really was wearing gloves which wiped the previous user's prints off. Then, after the deed was done, this fell out of his pocket as he was throwing the gun away. A mistake befitting a small-time punk, in my opinion. No! No! It seems we've come to the end of the line here. No, that can't be all. How unfortunate. It seems you weren't cut out to stand on the same stage as me. Were you, Air Forehead? I believe this brings the cross-examination to the close. The court will now declare a verdict for the defendant, Walkie Kitaki. Trucy? Nobody move! What's the meaning of this? Who are you? There'll be no verdict in this court. Not yet. Wait, are you one of the Kitakis? The Kitakis? You mean the notorious gangsters? If you don't want to see me give the pretty little girl a new smile, do as I say. Adjourn the court for 20 minutes. What? This court will not bow to pressure from the likes of... a judge. I see little point in further aggravating this gentleman. Recess. 20 minutes, or I promise you you'll regret it. Wait! How'd he disappear so fast? Come to the defendant lobby, Apollo. I suppose I have no choice but to adjourn for a 20-minute recess. Bailiff, catch that mysterious man! I don't know how I feel about that. We can't solve the case, so we, we stage a hostage situation? I don't know. I think if my lawyer did that, I'd probably be cooked, too. Let's be real. June 16th, 11:17 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Trucy! Trucy? You move quick, Apollo. Good show, good show. Trucy, you're okay. I thought... Don't cry, Apollo. Those good-for-nothing gangsters. There's some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges. Wait, just calm down, Apollo. Or else... What the heck is that? Surprised? This is one of my best tricks. The amazing Mr. Hat. You look marvelous, darling. He's a big hit on stage at the Wonder Bar. Yes, I'm a big hit. Ah, ah, ah. Well, what do you think? Do you like it? You mean, Trucy, there's some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges. Apollo, now's not the time to be threatening me. It's you who's being threatened here. Huh? Remember what you said to Waki's father yesterday? You promised you'd save his son. But the testimony was rock solid. What are you suggesting I do? Look, once the judge declares a verdict, it's all over. If I can use my talent to stop that from happening, I will. Trucy, no more staged abductions, please. I'm not talking about magic, Apollo. I know when the witness isn't confident. I can perceive what he's feeling. Yeah, they're just like cardboard cutouts, I swear. They're just like, oh, we found the girl. She's just been talking with the defense lawyer for the past 20 minutes. Don't worry about it. It might not mean anything, but it's all we've got. You can see what he's feeling? Think back, Apollo. Think back to the times when there was a contradiction in his testimony. All the times. All the times there was a contradiction. Well, I think I remember them, sure. There were 2 times when he made statements he wasn't confident in. And each time there was a contradiction. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. He said the man tossed aside a pistol, but it turned out he wasn't sure, and sure enough there was a contradiction. Well, that's true, but how does that help us? Didn't you notice anything? Whenever he made a statement he wasn't confident in, he displayed a certain habit. Did you see it? The very moment he said the word pistol, his fingers got all tense and he fiddled with the corner of a page in his book. How am I supposed to see that? Well, I could see it. How else do you think Daddy went 7 years without losing a game of poker? What? I always sat next to Daddy during big matches. I could see what his opponents were feeling. You mean that's how Mr. Right won all those games? It's not cheating, officially. I wasn't looking at their hands or anything. And I wasn't there all the time, either. Daddy's quite good at poker, after all. But not good enough to go undefeated that long. Great, so he cheated. What does that do for us? I don't believe this. You have to listen to his testimony one more time. No, scratch that. You have to watch his testimony. Perceive the truth. Watch a testimony? Perceive the truth? The only thing I'm perceiving is that I'm gonna lose. Not true. Daddy said so. He said you have the power, Apollo. Mr. Wright said that? Watch the testimony. Perceive his true feelings. Is she serious? Time's up. Sorry, I can't think of any other way out of this one, Apollo. What was that she said before the trial started? Huh. Mr. Wright's not here today? He said his old foot injury was acting up. Yes, he smiled when he said he would be fine as long as you're there, Trucy. Is this what he meant by us being fine? Well, methods aside, she did avoid one guilty verdict already. Time to show this court what I'm made of. Get ready for justice. Let's do it. Apollo! You know, I'm starting to think I can do this. I knew you could do it all along. Oh, one more thing. Try to cover for Mr. Hat as best you can. I just flew in from the coast and boy are my arms tired. Right. Ugh. Yep, we gotta watch for tells. Because it's not just, dig out their testimony. Nah, we gotta find their tells and, exploit them. Court is now back in session. Right, we're fine. I'd like to say the young lady standing next to you, Mr. Justice. Oh, you mean me? Don't you have anything to report? Anything concerning the mysterious phantom in the silk top hat? Ah, right, him. Don't worry about him. I settled that. You settled that? Yes, it was a out-of-court settlement, right? Perhaps Fraulein would have us believe it was nothing more than a passing dream. A fantastic illusion. Now you see it, now you don't. Am I right? I think he's onto me. I wish he would stop being so cool, and handsome, and attractive. And let us dispense with these niceties and get straight to the matter. What are your plans for our gifted witness? Right. The defense would like to request another cross-examination. Because I forgot to ask something. There was no issue with the witness's previous testimony. I will grant your request, however, but this court will not permit stalling for time. Understood, Your Honor. Don't forget, Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book. So, if he's fiddling with his book, it's this line here. Probably why I was drawn to it earlier. Alright. So, we're gonna perceive Statement 3. I'm not sure I'm qualified to watch testimonies after all. Focus, Apollo. Find his weak spot. Focus. If only were that easy. My ears hear what he says. My eyes see his expression. Do I have to do something more? What other senses do I have? What's this? My bracelet. What's going on? My bracelet feels different somehow. I think Daddy was right. You can see it, can't you, Apollo? You're almost there. Find the weak spot in his testimony. I know this sounds crazy, but my bracelets try to tell me something. So you called immediately after witnessing the murder. The police undoubtedly have a record of the call. Why not check with them? Wait, Apollo. This has to be it. Wait, you mean his habit? Don't forget, Apollo, when he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book. The only time he even had the book open was here. Which means that this is the place to look for this habit. I don't know how I know, but I know. You know what? It's my bracelet. It's different somehow. I can feel it reacting to something about the witness. Your bracelet? I'm not sure I get this focus stuff you were talking about, Trucy. But I have a feeling that trusting my bracelet's the way to go. Okay, I just need to touch my bracelet with Y as it reacts to the testimony. What's going on? I can see the witness's face. His expression is so clearly, it's filling my mind. I can see nothing else, hear nothing else. Apollo? Trucy? What's happening to me? This is what I meant by focusing. Focusing? In this state, you can see everything, Apollo. Everything the witness does. That's great, but this is kind of freaking me out. Just look for Mr. Stickler's twitch, his habit. You remember it, right? We covered it like 5 times in the past 10 minutes. Sure, when he says something he's not sure of, he fiddles with a page of his book. You got it. Right now, you're looking at the witness's face. And your eyes are sort of bugging out. I'll bet they are. First, move your focus of attention down to Mr. Stickler's hand. His hand? You know what to look for now, but you have to be looking at the right place. She's right. I can only see his face like this. Time to try changing my viewpoint. Yeah. Perfect! Now you're really ready. Ready for what? Ready to perceive the truth behind the twitch. Perceive? Try listening to the witness talk as you focus. Then watch for his habit. Right, you mean when he fiddles with the page. That's right. That's your signal to look closer, to perceive with why. Find his weak spot, and I guarantee we'll be able to give him the royal flush. Spoken like a true pokerhead's daughter. I'm a magician, thank you very much. So I have to pay attention to his words. And his fingers. Don't worry if you miss it, you can always try again. Right. Look out, nervous twitch! Here comes justice!
Gotcha!
I saw it. Just now. I could see it. Mr. Justice, do you have something to say? All this banging of desks, it's quite bad for my circulation, you know. Mr. Stickler, allow me to ask you a simple question. Why did you fiddle with the page of your book just now? The very moment you mentioned your cell phone? What are you talking about? I'm curious now about the cell phone of yours. Mind if I ask a few questions? What to ask? What to ask? Mr. Stickler, please show me your cell phone. Why? Whatever for? Show me and you'll find out. Well, I can't. I don't have it, you see. You don't have it. Mr. Stickler, is this your cell phone? Ow! Where did you get that? That's the phone from yesterday. Look, a cell phone. Someone dropped it beneath this tire. If the car moved, it'd be crushed for sure. I wonder if it belongs to the doctor here. How strange, Mr. Stickler. Can you explain why your cell phone is sitting here in my hand at this very moment? Wait a minute, what is the meaning of this? This cell phone was found yesterday in the Maractus Clinic garage. The Maractus? Why, that's where the victim lived. Yeah, that's impossible. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court, didn't you? If your cell phone is here, how could you have called the police? Weuk? It's true. I didn't have my cell phone that night. That is why it can be said that I called the police from a public payphone. A payphone? So you didn't call on your cell phone after all. Just where was this payphone located, Mr. Stickler? Well, to indicate it with a startling high degree of accuracy, it was right around here. That's quite a ways from the park. But why did you lie? There can be only one reason. He didn't want the court to know he had lost his cell phone. Because it was found in the victim's garage. What are you saying? Mr. Stickler, you broke into the Maractus Clinic garage on the night of the murder. This cell phone tells all. But that's ridiculous. That makes it sound like I snuck into this fellow's garage to commit some crime. though I were trying to kill him. Well, Dr. Maractus was killed that night. Well, yes, but no! This line of reasoning has to be against the rules. Yes, it's true I lost my cell phone, but you can't prove that I lost it that night. Well, Mr. Justice, that cell phone was dropped the night of the murder. It does raise considerable suspicions as to a connection with the crime. Now's your chance, Apollo. Connect Mr. Stickler to the crime. Oh, he's already connected enough. I just have to prove it. Well, do I have a piece of evidence that can do the job? Maybe. Can I prove the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder? Of course I have evidence. Ooh, I like your swagger, Air Forehead. Hit it. The court will see this evidence, Mr. Justice. Hit it, as they say. The evidence that proves the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder is... well, thankfully there's a nice little watch attached to this. And the watch has, thankfully stopped at a certain time. So if we look at it closely, I'm pretty sure this is what I have to present. Because as we can see, it's set for 9:30 here. So, I'm going to present the cell phone itself. But the other thing I can present is this torn off mirror. Let's present.
Take that!
Well, Prosecutor Gavin? No commentary, Judge. No dice, Mr. Justice. Penalty. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, that's what I'm feeling. Alright, let's try this again.
Take that!
That's a side view mirror. As it so happens, Dr. Maractus' car was in an accident that took place the night of the murder. An accident? An accident. It happened a little after 9 p.m., just outside People Park, our murder scene. Dr. Maractus' car hit a pedestrian. What are you trying to say? From the absence of a mirror, it's clear that the car was parked after the accident, which means it was parked there after 9 p.m. on the night of the murder. If your cell phone had been dropped before the car was parked in that garage, then it would have been crushed. After all, it was lying on the ground right under the wheel. Ugh. Ergo, Mr. Stickler, the only time you could have dropped this in that garage was after 9 p.m. the night of the murder in the park. York? What kind of sound effect is that? Mr. Stickler, you know what this means? You did break into the victim's garage that night. This is most unexpected, Mr. Justice. Are you naming the witness as a suspect in the murder of Pal Maractus? No. Stop. This is too much. This can't be happening. Prosecutors, say something. I suppose it's worth saying this. No connection has been found between Wesley Stickler and Paul Maractus. That is, other than this. I believe our next testimony will be most revelatory. Is the witness prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I know that face. That's the face of guilt. That night, yes, I went to the supermarket. I must have dropped my cell phone on the way back. And when I was walking through the park, I happened to witness the crime. I saw the killer, the victim, the stand, all as clear as day. It was him. I saw the defendant at the scene. Yes, but your cell phone was lying in the garage. Yes, well, as you can see, my model of cell phone has a defect. It is given to rolling. It's quite a pain when I drop it alongside the road, you know. Looks like a normal cell phone to me. In any case, Mr. Justice, the cross-examination, please. That's funny. My bracelet didn't react at all during that testimony. His nervous habit must not be acting up. I didn't sense anything either, actually. Looks like you're on your own this time around. Right, no problem. I hope. Here comes justice!
Hold it!
So you went shopping, which means you were holding a grocery bag when you witnessed the murder taking place? Huh? Well, yes, of course! Incidentally, the prosecution has received no report of this domestic detail. Mr. Stickler, can you explain yourself? No! I mean, yes. I did go shopping, really. I walked around the supermarket trying out the free samples. It's a deeply spiritual time for me. I'm sure the store clerks would disagree. Do you think sampling free food counts as a religion? In any case, that night, I sampled to my heart's content and was on my way back home. Yes.
Hold it!
That's when you passed in front of the Maractus Clinic? Why, yes, that's correct. That was a pretty suspicious pause there. Mr. Stickler, do you think you could be a bit more specific? Please show us the exact route you took on the night of the murder. Of course! The supermarket is here, along the main road. My way home from there takes me past the Maractus Clinic. This is probably when I dropped my cell phone. Yet woe was I walked on unaware of my loss. And walked right into that fateful park. And when I was walking through the park, I happened to witness the crime.
Hold it!
Well, now his testimony doesn't make sense, because if he came in through that way, the victim would be facing the wrong way when Stickler called out to him, and would have been shot through the left temple, not the right temple. So, clearly something's wrong here. Which entrance did you enter the park from? Well, to be exact, one might say that I went in from the entrance closest to the Maractus Clinic. The same entrance our victim used? Did you notice anything when you entered? Wheel marks from a noodle stand, for instance. I have no recollection of such a thing, no. Yet though I might have missed the tracks, I could not miss what happened next. I am a keen observer of the obvious, you might say.
Hold it!
This part of the testimony is the key, I know it. Should I press him about the killer, the victim, or the noodle stand? Let's press about the victim, because something about the testimony doesn't make sense. You can see the victim quite clearly, too. Oh, clear as clear can be, I assure you. I see. So, how'd he look? How? How do you mean how? Be specific. I mean in general. The defense will refrain from straining to come up with questions. Find the question that lies in your heart and ask that. Yes, Your Honor. Great, a judge who moonlights as a self-help guru. Okay, not what I was supposed to ask.
Hold it!
I might want to ask about the noodle stand. Do you happen to remember the noodle stand? Quite well, yes. For a student of the sciences, keen observation and healthy curiosity are vital. I remember everything. I could even read the sign. I believe it said, noodle. Yes, that was it. For remembering something quite well, it sure took you a while to tell us. And thank you for telling us that a noodle stand sells noodles. Very enlightening. Well, Mr. Justice? What about that sign? Could that be important? Yes. We have the noodle stand in evidence. So, the sign on the noodle stand said, noodle. It appears the defense has just obtained a vital piece of testimony. Is this noodle stand's broth really that delicious? I'll have to go sample the wares one of these days. I think that's worth adding to the testimony as well. Whatever sort of noodles that stand sells, it can't match up to IVU's cafeteria. Some apply to the school merely for a taste of our smart noodles. I wouldn't mind a taste of that myself. Alright. Hopefully it will let me do this without issue, but we're going to present our noodle stand here. And the reason why we're going to present the noodle stand here is because depending on how you look at it, it either says Eldoon, if you're approaching it from a certain angle, or it says noodle. So if he was approaching from a certain way, it would say noodle, but if he was approaching from the other way, it would say Eldoon. So, this is how it would look if he was approaching it. The victim turned to him. Killer's shot here. Bullet goes through. Ends up going through his temple. Boom. But if it's the other way, see the victim here. Victim turns. Says noodle. Alright.
Objection!
And you're absolutely sure the sign read noodle? Why, just last week my professor offered me this praise. At least you have good eyesight, Stickler. I'll give you that. It read without a doubt noodle. I see. Why are you looking at me like that? Is that pity I see in your eyes? Let's take a look at our map, shall we? So you're claiming that when you saw the sign, you were standing here, was it? Although it would have been a bit hard to read the sign from this spot. You think so? Mr. Stickler, I'd like you to please take another look at the stand and carefully read what the sign says. See, the sign actually states the name of the stand's owner. Eldoons. Inconceivable! I'm certain it was definitely noodle for sure, but positive. I'm afraid your professor was wrong about that eyesight. I wouldn't be so quick to jump to that conclusion. The sign he saw changes everything. The witness says the sign said noodle. What would you say if I told you that there is one spot from which the sign would be read the way Mr. Stickler claims? What? Mr. Justice, show us this spot. The witness actually viewed the stand from this location. I mean, it would be like here.
Take that!
The witness was standing here, on the opposite side. How do you know that? When viewed from the south, the sign of the stand reads Eldoons, as we know. However, observe the other side of the stand. Oh, this side says noodle. Exactly. The name of the stand is split between the front and back signs. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court. You witnessed the crime from the northern side of the park, not the south. No! You got me!
Objection!
So what? So what? What does it matter if he saw the killing from the north or the south side? It makes no difference at all. He's right. Travel far enough to the south and you'll end up going north. Viewed on a global scale, directions are utterly without meaning. Actually, maybe he's right. What does it change? It changes everything, Apollo. Trucy? Remember his testimony from before? Though, to be honest, I'm a little scared of where this is leading. The killer and the victim are facing each other here. Then, at the moment the killer raises his weapon, Mr. Stickler shouts. At which point the victim turns his head to look. And the killer fires his pistol. That's why the bullet hit him in the right temple. No contradictions, right? Right. But if Mr. Stickler was standing on the north side of the park, that reverses the whole scenario. Completely. If Mr. Stickler shouts from where he is now, and the victim looks in his direction, the bullet would have to hit his left temple. Oh! In other words, someone standing at point K couldn't shoot the victim in his right temple. It's impossible. That's right. So now that we know that Mr. Stickler was standing on the northern side, the wound location takes on an entirely different meaning. Indeed. You are absolutely correct, Fräulein. What meaning? The entry wound was on the right side of the victim's head, correct? Well, the right side of the victim's head is north. North? Ah! That's where the witness, Wesley Stickler, was standing. Correct. So if he was standing to the north, the only person here who could have shot the victim in the right temple was Mr. Stickler himself. Ow! Order! 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 Wow, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. She's flipped this whole case on its head while I was still figuring it out. Yeah, I know, Apollo, you're useless. Jeez, this should just be Trucy right, Ace Attorney. Holy shit.
Objection!
Clarify one point for me, if you would, Air Forehead. What now? Are you truly accusing this college student of murder? Well, I can't say he exactly looks innocent, but something still doesn't feel right. I just can't picture him as the real killer. No, please, looks aside, I'm really a nice guy. All my friends say so. Let's hear what the defense has to say. What are you gonna do now, Justice? Should I really accuse Mr. Stickler? Let's accuse him of another crime, because if he's the one... I don't think he's the murderer, I think he was the panty thief. I don't think Wesley Stickler's a killer, but he's not innocent either. His unusual silence tells me that much. Mr. Stickler, you seem unusually quiet. Tell us why now. The word confession isn't in my dictionary. Tisk, Air Forehead. I'm afraid it falls to you to elucidate Air Stickler's silence. Mr. Justice, you did say you were accusing the witness just now. For a crime other than murder. Your reason, the court's all ears. I know he's guilty of something, but what crime other than murder is there? Do I have evidence that shows his involvement in some other crime? We do, but I'm not 100% sure what to present. Your evidence. The court's all eyes, Mr. Justice. Show us evidence that points to the witness's involvement in a crime.
Take that!
The evidence is this. What? Is that? Women's underwear. Hey, those are mine! Don't look at me like that! Order! 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 Mr. Stickler. Well, I can't say this comes as a shock. It's not what it seems. By Pythagoras' theorem, I swear! On the night of the murder, just past 9 p.m., a young girl catches a panty snatcher red-handed. Bravely, she gives chase, but the snatcher flees and hides himself in no other place than the Maractus Clinic garage. Aha! Incidentally, these panties were found in the exhaust pipe of the car there. Presumably, he was trying to hide the evidence of his crime. Ergo, while you may not be a murderer, you are guilty of panty snatching in the first degree. Please, hear me out. It's not what it looks like. Order! 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 Mr. Stickler, you should be ashamed. It's not what it seems. So, are we to understand that you were silent not because you were guilty of murder, but because you lacked the courage to admit your theft of this girl's undergarments? Perhaps you are not aware that my school's name was originally written IV. I stands for intelligent, V stands for valiant. See? Your point. I'm not done. Now, I'm a major in the science department. And what does science teach if not curiosity? Yes, we of the IVU science department are valiantly curious. No challenge is too daunting, and what greater challenge to science than a mystery? Come on, you're talking about a girl's panties here. No, you don't understand. A mystery is the unknown, and the unknown is unacceptable. And my friends, when it comes to mysteries, those panties are the promised land. The moment I first laid eyes on them, I was compelled to investigate for science. A full-size car tire was only the first mystery those panties revealed. A tire. Yes, I saw her do it. She pulled a tire out of those panties. That's not all. First there was the tire, then a stew pot, and a frozen chicken. One mystery after another. It was magic. Oh, I remember now. He's one of the regulars in the audience at the Wonder Bar. Huh? He's talking about my magic panties trick. I just don't understand. A broom from a pair of panties. It mocks the very laws of physics. A broom and a frozen chicken, Trucy. Whatever happened to doves and bunny rabbits? Mr. Stickler, you stole this girl's panties to understand a magic trick. You say panties, but they are so much more than that. For me, they are an object for serious study. I wonder. There's been a recent rash of panty snatchings in the area. Were they all you? I am sorry, but I did it for science. Each time I spied a pair of panties flapping in the wind, I thought, maybe this would be the pair that would elucidate the mystery. Even that night, as she chased me through the streets, I wept tears of joy. Perhaps this is the night that I will seize the truth that lies in those panties. Yet woe's I, for once again the lacy heart-patterned truth slipped through my fingers, and... Yeah, he stole a second pair of panties as well, thinking that they might discover the truth. I don't even want to know. Oh, goodness. Still, that leaves one thing unexplained. You refer to our witness's other lie, yes? The witness claimed he saw the crime from the south, but was in fact in the north. Indeed. Would anyone care to explain why he lied about that? Be my guest, Airforehead. Me? Did I not hear you correctly? Did you not say you do not accuse the witness of murder? Why then did the witness lie about his location at the time of the shooting? Or have you no idea? Apollo, there's something about the way the diagram is arranged right now. When you think about it, right near where Mr. Stickler was standing, isn't there a... Well, Mr. Justice, what say you? Do you have any evidence to show why the witness lied about this location? There's a whole bunch of paints and stuff on the south side. The only other thing I can think of is this other pair of panties.
Take that!
The evidence that shows why he lied is this. What? More panties? How many panties are you carrying in your pocket, Hairforehead? These are the last honest. These were found in a trash can at the park. Looking at the diagram, we can see that the trash can was right next to where the witness stood. Mr. Stickler, you didn't. Alas, I'm a failure as a scientist. I can't unravel the mysteries of the universe. I can't even unravel a pair of panties. So, these panties are your handiwork as well. That night, I had been chased, hounded into the Maractus Clinic garage. Weeping in frustration, I was forced to abandon my prize. Don't you see how I felt? Believe me, I'd rather not. I hid in the garage for a short while. Then, abandoning the panties, I made for home. To avoid the office where the girl works, I went around the south entrance. When I saw them hanging there on a clothesline by a giant mansion. A giant pair of panties! Apparently he didn't know those bloomers belonged to the mob. I had them safe in my pocket, ready to take home, when I stumbled upon a murder! The murder of Dr. Maractus. I reported what I had seen, but as I waited for the police to arrive, I got scared. What if they searched me? That's when you disposed the bloomers? Yes, it was a severe blow to the progress of science, but one that had to be borne. A fascinating, if disturbing, tale. I believe this brings today's proceedings to a close, and I'm more than pleased to dismiss this witness for the remainder of the trial. One last thing, if I might. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin. Regardless of where we ended today, some vital points were made. Namely, that the defendant, Waki Kitaki, was at the scene of the crime, and he was pointing a weapon at the victim. One more thing. Waki Kitaki has a clear motive. Indeed, the defendant, Waki Kitaki, is still the prime suspect in this case. The only suspect, in fact, assuming there was no one else on the scene at the time. Yet a mystery remains. The location of the wound in the victim's right temple has yet to be explained. The court requests further investigation from both the defense and prosecution. Yeah, baby. No problem. Very well. This brings the trial for the day to a close. Court is adjourned. Alright, so this trial told us not a whole lot, honestly. Just that we found out who the panty thief was. We still have to find out who the murderer is, what really happened there. There's a lot that we're missing. So, we're gonna save for now, and we're gonna start day 2 of the investigation next time. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I hope you join me next time as we figure out the truth behind this noodle cart murder. Until next time, everyone, stay safe, don't drink too much, and party hardy.